Hi there, welcome or welcome back to the Books R Us. Today we are going to run through my to be read for February. Actually, we are going to run through all the possible books for my February to be read. And as you can see, this shelf is empty right now because I took all the books down. Here are the stacks and we'll run through them. I made some very rough, probably very arbitrary categories as to define why certain books are on my February list. But without further ado, let's get started. Now, my first category are books that I see myself cuddling up with underneath a blanket because I consider February to be the last month of winter, and I desperately want it to be the last month of winter because I have had enough of the dark now. I enjoy it during December when you can have all the twinkling lights and everything like that, and I can take it in January because of the snow, but now I need more light in my life. I need the sun. I work on solar energy, I think. So the first one here is a book that I have randomly picked up when I was walking through the bookstore and I saw it. I have not heard anything about this one. It is called Invisible Kitties by Yu Yoyo. I have no idea what it is about. I think it is actually about cats and what cats do. But as in like a cozy story, I guess. And then the other one here is The Queen's Gambit, which I have seen the Netflix show about, and I enjoyed that one very much. I thought it was very clever and very well done, and I would like to read this one at some time in the future. Next up, I have one sci-fi book here. I actually do not read a lot of sci-fi, but I heard a lot of good things about Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and I have read The Martian by Andy Weir before, a couple of years ago, and I actually enjoyed that one quite a lot. I thought it was well done because the science can be specific, of course, but it was still doable. It was kind of understandable, and I'm hoping that this one would give me that too. And I'm actually really looking forward to reading this one because of all the good comments that it has had over the years. This one is about an astronaut who started on his mission and then he wakes up from his sleep that he was put in, and I believe that all the other astronauts are dead. Or he discovers that they are dead or maybe even murdered, and then I guess he has to figure out how to survive in space and how to return or do everything that he has to do. So I'm shortlisting this one. Moving on to fantasy on this list, first off I have this series which is called Inkheart, Inkspell and Inkdeath. Now I do think this is a middle grade series that a lot of people have talked to me about, and they seem very interesting and I love these editions, and that is the reason actually why they are on this particular monthly to be read, because February is my birth month. I will be celebrating my birthday pretty soon, and these covers are some of the nicest covers that I have found for a series. They do not give winter at all, but I do think they are gorgeous to see on a shelf. So I'll put them there. Oh, and these were written by Cornelia Funke. Then I have another fantasy series, which is this one, the one that starts with The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This one is actually recommended to me by a good friend who is clearly enjoying this series. I don't know a lot about it. I believe it is about vampire clans and there is some kind of tournament that goes on. And I believe that these two books, the first two books, are connected to each other or are about a certain clan. And then this one is an in-between novella. And then I think this one is the first book of another clan duology, but do correct me if I'm wrong. More fantasy with the Villains duology, which consists of Vicious and Vengeful and was written by V.E. Schwab. I've only read The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which I appreciated but was not per se my most favorite book. I did like the concept though, so I am curious to see if V.E. Schwab can convince me with a different book. And also here I have another V.E. Schwab book, which is Gallant, which is a bit shorter, I guess, and a standalone, so this is also an option. And the last fantasy on here is a classic. It is The Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. Well, I don't know if it is an actual classic, but it is definitely a classic in the genre when we are talking about vampires. I do intend to read this one someday, but I have to say that I truly enjoyed the movie, the original one with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and, oh, what's her name again? Kirsten Dunst, of course, which was a really great acting performance for someone that young. Time to move on to my next category, which is romance novels, but literary romance novels, definitely. The first one would be The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. Last year I read Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, which was beautiful, absolutely wonderful, and I would definitely like to read more by Maggie O'Farrell. And The Marriage Portrait is about this young girl who got married, and then her husband takes her to this villa, I think, and then basically tells her that he wants to kill her or to get rid of her or something like that. So I am definitely interested in reading this one because it is by Maggie O'Farrell, and that is why I'm putting this one on my shortlist as well. The next romance book would be Dr. Zhivago by Boris Pasternak. I believe I once saw a TV series about Dr. Zhivago, and I think Keira Knightley was playing the girl in there, but once again, correct me if I'm wrong, if my mind is playing tricks on me. This one would be something to get into, though all the Russians are pretty hefty. The next one here is The Heart in Winter by Kevin Barry, which also comes highly recommended. Now this one I believe has some historical background and is situated in the Rocky Mountains. I don't really know anything else about this one, but it looks quite stunning. I love the setup of this cover. Also in here I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It is about Rebecca who falls in love and then she marries this man, and then he takes her to his home in this secluded area, and then Rebecca starts to find out that she actually doesn't know this man very well. I don't know how it continues. I do know that this one got quite a bit of press lately because Taylor Swift said that she read this one, and I believe that a lot of Swifties started to read this one as well. I don't know a lot by Taylor Swift, so if I read this, it won't be because of that, but because I have heard mention of this book for quite some years now. I also, once again, love this cover. Let me show you this beautiful book. It's wonderful to own beautiful books. And the last one here, the last one in the romance category would be Baumgartner by Paul Auster, who I believe, I want to say recently passed away, but I don't know if it is still that recent. It's been a couple of months, I think. And when he was mentioned in the news, I realized that I have never read anything by Paul Auster. And this one is about someone who is talking about his wife and the love for his wife. And it seems like a nice introduction to Auster's work, so I'm going to put this one on the shortlist. Moving on to some poetry. The poetry I have for February is this beautiful edition of poetry by William Butler Yeats. This is a cover for this beautiful book once again. Because of the blue, I think that I put it in a winter month still. And it has been quite a while since I read some Yeats. And also here in the poetry section I have these three books, all by Amanda Lovelace, but I do believe that they belong together. And the series starts with this book, which is called The Princess Saves Herself in this one. It continues with The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. And the last one is The Mermaid's Voice Returns in this one. And I love these titles. I think they are interesting. I don't know if the poetry is going to be amazing or not. I haven't read anything in here, but I can see that there is a lot of variation in style between these poems. So I am quite interested to start something by Amanda Lovelace. Two more categories to go, and the second to last one is historical fiction. And I'm starting that one off with The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, which I have been told is something that you should definitely read. I believe it centers around slavery in the United States. Next I have Sophie's Choice, which was written by William Styron. This one is about the Jews in the Second World War. Then I have Cal by Bernard McLeverty. I do believe I had to read this one in high school, but nothing really stuck. I don't think as a high school student you are particularly interested in what happened in Ireland and the suffering of the Irish, but I would appreciate it a lot more now. Well, not the suffering, of course, but the book or the way it is written. Then I have two books by Tommy Orange. The first one is There There and the other one is Wandering Stars. Now especially There There came highly recommended, and it is the first one of the two, and both of them are about the Native Americans, I believe. I have Notes from the Underground by Dostoevsky, and I also have A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles or Amor Towles. And this one is in the top 10 books from the New York Times favorite books for the first quarter of the century, if I am saying that correctly. Anyway, so I would definitely like to read this one. Shortlist. And my last category I'll just call Winter and Darkness, because I put them together based on the covers, because I don't think they have a lot in common with each other. First off, I have The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula Le Guin, which is this one, and there is snow on the cover, so that's why it's here. I believe it is about two people who have to cross a snowy area or something, and then they talk a lot about friendship and love and all things to do with life. The next one on here is The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. This one is about a midwife, and then there is this doctor who proclaims that someone died because of natural causes, and she doubts if that is true, and she's going to try and find out, I guess, what actually happened. Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, which is about a mother who meets this couple who seems to be perfect, but apparently they are not. A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrian Young, which is about a boy that dies and then his sister tries to find out what actually happened to him. There is a lot of mysterious death in this one, I believe. We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clewer, which is about a house and people come and knock on the door and they say that they used to live in that house, literally, and they ask if they can come inside and give their family a tour of this house that they used to live in. And this person who lets them in is very kind and actually lets them in, and then I guess strange things start to happen. The Obsession by Nora Roberts, which seems like an interesting thriller as well. Alright, Babel by R.F. Kuang, which because of the grey gives me this winter vibe, but it is actually set at a university, I believe Oxford University. And it is about language, or about magic that has to do with language, and I am actually really interested in reading this one as well. Ooh, more good things. Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This one is also in the top 10 of that list that I was talking about before. And I believe that this one has a dystopian element to it, which I love. We are fans of dystopia here. So this one is definitely going on the shortlist as well. Three more books. Shiver by Ellie Reynolds. This one also seems like an interesting thriller. I don't know what it is about snow and thrillers. I think it is all about seclusion, feeling isolated, and scary things can happen when people cannot reach you. I do like reading thrillers in summer as well, but something about the sunshine makes things less scary, and that's why this one is on here too. It is Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors, also with the snowy cover, the wintry cover, and this one also is a thriller. And the last one here is Into the Wild by John Krakauer. This one is taking place in Alaska, so I do think that wintry vibes are in order, but I'm not sure. Originally, I thought that Into the Wild would be about the jungle or something, but you know, everybody makes mistakes, I guess. Okay, I ended up with 11 books on my shortlist, but 11 is definitely too many, especially since I am still intending to read 2 more books from my January to be read, which I normally wouldn't do, but I was very much motivated to read those 2 particular books. And then I got sidetracked because Onyx Storm came out, and that's the one that I am reading now. And I definitely think that if Onyx Storm hadn't come out, I would have finished both those books in January. So I'm still reading those, which means that I have to narrow these 11 books down to, I'd say 5, but if I have 2 books to read already, then I think 4 might be a more realistic number. So I think I am going to just organize these 11 in the order that I am most anticipating to read a book to the one that I am least anticipating. So let me try and get this organized. Alright, I think I can live with this. On place 11 we have The Frozen River. At place 10 we have The Princess Saves Herself in this one. Then we have The Left Hand of Darkness. Then we have Paul Auster's Baumgartner. Next we have The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Moving into top 5 we have There, A Gentleman in Moscow. Top 3, Babel, Station 11, and Project Hail Mary, which I definitely want to start with. Alright, that's it. Please leave me a comment what you think about my choices. Give this video a like if you liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. It would definitely mean the world to me. And I hope to see you soon in another video. Bye!